Hey!
We're live.
Hooray!
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
That doesn't put some zip in your zap. I don't know.
Oh, hang on, guys. Hang on a second.
We're hanging.
I gotta plug
We're
something in just to be
hanging.
sure. Hang on. Oh, hopefully we
I just
won't
got to
lose-
get his walker out and go downstairs.
Hopefully we're not going to lose the show here. I'm just going to switch to direct cable.
What's your name, Kane or Walker?
Okay, I think we're good.
Uh,
Hey, we didn't. Hey, look at that.
Hey
We're
there.
still live. Yeah, we're here. Well, we're
We're
here
here.
and we're bouncing back and forth actually.
are we?
Yeah.
We're solid on Facebook.
Okay, we're getting solid now. I think there. Okay, now we're solid.
We're solid.
Excuse me.
Solid, man. We're solid.
We'll Caesar salad.
Caesar solid. She rushed it up and she Caesar solid.
Just another second or two.
Yeah, give me a sentence with Caesar salad. If you don't put oil in her, you'll Caesar salad.
Okay, just
You want the music again?
no. Well, hang on. I'm getting this little bit of a red blip showing up that I'm a little bit off live.
We
No,
know,
we're showing perfect.
we know you're a little off. That's
Okay,
what I
yeah.
mean.
Well,
Yeah, that's what,
I had to say that.
you're
Okay,
blushing. That's
hey,
the red.
hey, listen, hey, we're live. If we go dead, we'll know. You know, people know
Yeah.
that for now. So,
That's right.
not that we haven't been here before. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Hooray,
Yay.
guys! Hey,
We
my name is Chris Kerwin of Astronomy by the Bay, and first of all, I'd like to welcome back our two regular co-hosts, Mr. Paul Owen from Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Hey, Paul.
hello from Hampton.
Evening. And
A
Mr. Mike.
suburb of Quispam.
Yeah.
I'm just
We
down
don't
the
talk
street from
suburbs on the
LA.
show anymore. Yeah.
Lower Alpha.
Lower up. Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Right here.
Yeah, there we go. So tonight we've got a very busy show on the way for you. We're all thrilled to get a large number of photos that people have shared with us this week. Of course, a number of them came from the result of the amazing aurora that everybody experienced last week.
Yep.
Not everybody, but a lot of people did. Well, tonight we're going to take a look at some of your wonderful captures, and we'll also investigate why we experienced such intense aurora, or why we did, and what we might experience in the near future, hopefully. Also tonight, we're bringing back a gearbox segment, and where we discuss different types of equipment and occasionally our review on something. Mike is going to show us a recent find that he picked up at a place that you would not think to buy or to get astronomy gear at all. So you got to keep your eyes open. That's all helped to Paul as well, so we'll get into that little discussion. Also tonight, Paul has some amazing captures lately with his new camera setup, and he's going to show us one of them, along with some information about how he processed the data to get such a nice image. That one behind him, actually. Or is the one behind? That's the soul, yeah. Paul will also return a little later with another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts, and Mike will be bringing back Binal Bud as he reveals his newest binocular target of the week. Hey! And I also hope to provide a look at what's up in the sky in the coming week as well. So sit back, folks, grab your favorite beverage and favorite girl. And remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky or astronomy equipment in general, just post them here, and we're happy to try to answer them for you. So let's get started with tonight's program.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Scott Roberts, welcome from Explore Scientific.
Absolutely. I just saw it.
Hey,
How you doing?
welcome, sir. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining on. And
Paul's
we
on
got-
from the UK. Wow.
Paul's on from UK. We got the Brampton Observatory here, and we have Jamie and Trudy on YouTube.
Yeah. Kathy's
Okay.
watching, as
Yep.
always.
Yep. We do have our faithfuls for sure. Okay, I think
Thank
what we'll do.
goodness.
Okay, let's get started. Maybe what I'll do is I'll start with the what's up coming up this week, and then we're gonna.
What's coming up this week, Chris?
Hey, what's coming up this week? What's going to be happening this week? Of course, we all just took a look at the beautiful sky outside tonight. I hope everybody did. Took a look at the crescent moon and Venus there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful
sitting
sight.
really pretty. Always nice when the crescent moon and Venus sit together. Those two together are so nice. The second brightest and the third brightest object in the sky.
I like we've had 3 days in a row with no clouds.
That's been a treat too, for sure.
3 nights. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. I think we got our slide up here. Oh, hang on. Not for you guys. I got to do this again. This is what I do, see? I've got to do share screen.
Things must be sliding there, are they?
Oh, wah, wah, wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
The night this week.
Okay. There we go. You guys seeing that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, night sky this week. What have we got to look forward to coming up? Just a few things that I'm going to present. Not all of them, but of course, if you get outside underneath the dark sky that we've got a lot of other deep sky treasures to check out. But here's a few common ones, I guess. So first of all, tomorrow, Europa and its shadow transit across Jupiter. Now, Europa is one of Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons. We've got Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto all gathered together there. And if you check it out with binoculars or a small telescope, you'll usually get to see 4 dots that you'll see close to Jupiter. Those are the 4 moons that are closest to Jupiter. It's the 4 of the 79 moons that Galileo discovered back in 1610. So anyway, on Monday, Europa and its shadow will transit across the face of Jupiter. So here's the planet, or the moon Europa, and there's its shadow way over here. Now, only part of Europa's transit will be visible as it begins during daylight hours. It should be visible from 5:45 to 6:35, though. Now, Europa's shadow, though, will be visible from 6:26 until 9:13. So it takes pretty well almost 3 hours for the shadow to cross that huge planet. Planet's so big, I mean, 1,000 Earths would fit inside it. So that's why it takes so long for it to pass by. But it's always nice if you get a telescope to take a look at this. It's really interesting to watch that shadow pass across Jupiter. So that's Monday night. I'm going to skip ahead to Wednesday night now. And these are just some of the major events, I guess I could call them. Wednesday night, Mercury is going to be nearest to Mars. Now, on Monday night, Mercury sits almost 3 degrees above Mars. So Mercury's sitting here, and it'll be up in this area. On Tuesday night, Mercury's about 1.2 degrees up and to the left of Mars. By early Wednesday morning, though, look for Mercury less than 1 degree from Mars. So a typical field of view in a set of binoculars is 5 degrees, so you should be able to get Mercury and Mars together in your field of view. Now, they're going to be a little difficult. They're very dim, but you can still pick them out. Mars, we're a long way from Mars now, of course, so Mars is a lot smaller. Now, by Thursday morning, Mercury's going to be 1.2 degrees below and to the left of Mars. And then by Friday, Mercury's very near the horizon, way down in this area. And it's 1.5 degrees from Mars. So we'll be able to watch the celestial mechanics in motion here. We'll watch these 2 planets do a little bit of a dance across the sky. That's our morning sky. So if you didn't get a chance to get out in the evening sky, or if you work all evenings and you're getting on your way home in the morning, then go out and take a look at this just before sunrise. Next up is, again on Wednesday, we have the Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn forming a really nice celestial trio. They're together. My spelling's a little off. With the Moon will form a nice trio between Jupiter, Saturn, and the Moon. Tomorrow night, we saw the Moon down here beside Venus tonight. It'll be up in this area tomorrow night, and then sliding up a little bit farther. And each night, we're going to be moving a little bit farther east with the Moon in our evening sky. Always nice to watch the Moon traverse the sky and catch up to the planets as it goes. So we have this ability to do this actually right past Christmas. These 3 planets will be lined up in our evening sky just even past Christmas. Thursday night now. Thursday got a lot of activity happening. We got our first quarter moon happening that arrives at 1/4 of the way through its lunar cycle. This is an excellent time really to point your binoculars or telescope at the moon and reveal lots of craters, mountain ranges, huge maria, and lots more. Boy, my spelling is really off tonight. Look right along this terminator line if you can, and that's where you're going to see the most detail. Here's where your shadows extend the longest, down into the walls of the craters and along Maria, along the mountain ranges. So this is the area that you're going to want to pan your binoculars through. And binoculars are just as good as a small telescope, really. You've got 2 two binoculars attached together, or two small telescopes actually attached together. They're giving you the correct orientation. They're portable, they're lightweight, they're easy to take outside, take a quick look. So don't let that moment pass you by when you have the moon out. Again, on Thursday, we've got the moon sitting about 2 degrees below Jupiter. Thursday evening, look for a first quarter moon less than 3 degrees below Jupiter. And Thursday on the 11th, again, we're looking at the Lunar X and the Lunar V. So these are these two shapes right here. We call them the Lunar X. There's the V, and there's the X. And they're only observable for about 4 hours right around first quarter. Now, they begin at 7 p.m. on Thursday night. Now, the illusion of the Lunar X is created by the sunlight falling on the rims or the ridges of these craters, between the craters Lacaille, Blachini, and Purbach. And up here, the V is caused by light illuminating the crater Urquhart, along with several smaller craters. So these are really kind of neat shapes to pick out. You've only got about 4 hours to do it. Nice to be able to capture it with a photo if you're using a telescope. Just one of those things that you want to try to see. On Friday, we get the straight wall. So this is a feature is known as Rupus recta, or the straight wall, and it's a linear fault line on the moon, and it's a well-known escarpment. It's visible at about day 8 of the lunar cycle. Rupus recta casts a wide shadow that gives it the appearance of a steep cliff. So really, if you were walking here, it's about a 7-degree incline, but it's stretched out over a long distance. Fault length has a length of 110 kilometers and a typical width of 2 to 3 kilometers. So it's really not a cliff, but it's just the trick that light and shadows plays on us when we're looking at the moon. The height is about 240 to 300 meters. It also appears to be vertical cliff in the lunar surface, and actually it's just a grade of a slope that's relatively shallow, but kind of neat to see. Again, on Friday, we've got another transit coming up. And I picked out the transits here that are probably the most interesting to watch. There are a couple of eclipses, I'll call them, and reoccurrences where they pop out from behind the shadow of Jupiter. But this one here is another one of Io, and Io in its shadow will transit across the face of Jupiter on Friday evening. Io will begin its transit at 7:37 until 9:54. So there you go, over 2 hours for that to transit across the face. Such a tiny little planet, tiny little moon, and a huge planet behind it, right? Well, Io's shadow will follow behind it from 8:57 until 11:13. So you can see Io traversing across here by 7:37. It takes another hour before the shadow actually starts to cross it. So really interesting. Neat to see, nice to capture if you've got the ability to capture it with the planetary camera. And you can watch it in motion. And I always like to promote Lisa because Lisa puts this information up. Most of the information I just talked about is right here. Lisa's look up. You can find her page at Ruby Moonbeams on Facebook. And Lisa puts this monthly chart out with what's happening in the month of what you're in. So we're in the month of November. So she lists all the major events down here, including the penumbral lunar eclipse coming up, which we're all going to get to see on the 19th of November. Because it's going to be clear sky guaranteed. I've already talked to the weatherman, so it's all set. And then she lists the dates of each activity, and then she'll list the peak times of each activity, and then she'll, over here in this final column, she has a set of eyeballs here for naked eye, and then binoculars, and then telescopes. So she'll let you know what you need to see that particular event. So it's a great little chart. I really appreciate Lisa doing that, and I try to put it up as much as possible because it's a great thing to take that chart, print it off, put it on your fridge, and you'll have an idea what's coming up over the next week. So that's about what we have to show for this week, I think.
There's lots going on.
All kinds.
I remember my research. Friendly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's a lead into some events this week. And again, that Venus and moon out there tonight was just awesome.
It was.
Paul, do you want to go ahead, or we want to get a vinyl bet, or what do you want to do next?
Yeah, I'll do my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, then I can get that out the way, you know.
Alrighty.
All right, so what I'm going to chat about tonight, very briefly, is recently I just got into monochromatic narrowband imaging. Like most folks out there, I've been using a one-shot color camera, or in a lot of cases, people use DSLR, which is the same thing really, except it's not cooled. And so I've done that for years, and that's how I've done all of my imaging. And then the last few years, using those one-shot color cameras, they come up with these what they call duo narrowband filters, or tri narrowbands, or even quad narrowbands now. And so basically, they're filters that are designed to work with a one-shot color camera, but also to try to focus in a little bit more on specific bandwidths. And they work absolutely wonderful. And again, right up until 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, that's how I was doing all of my imaging. And then I was fortunate enough to start working with Sky News, and they have some data that they're offering to the public, which can allow you to work with basically narrowband data that their telescope from California captures, and it captures it in all the filter arrays depending on the target. So some of the targets were red, green, blue, and luminance, which would be kind of what we're used to doing, except we got to put it together. And then also they had ones that were sulfur 2, oxygen 3, and hydrogen alpha, and you had to put those together along with if you were going to use something in form of luminance, you could put it on after. You could use your hydrogen alpha, make a luminance channel. Anyway, so I started doing that, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so fun, and all the different things that you can come up with. So my very first picture that I got to do with that data, which is something I'm not sure if they put it out or not, but it's the Bat Nebula, which is part of the Eastern Veil Nebula. It's the bigger part that they say looks like a bat. So I got to do that my first time around, and it was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, but I just started playing with it, and sure enough, it's really not all that difficult to do if you didn't have to get the data yourself. Then I thought, well, I like challenges, so I'm gonna see if I can get something, because it inspired me to get another camera, but this time go with a mono camera and some filters. So I got the whole, I got a 7-position filter wheel with all of those filters I just named in it. So you had to put it together, put the filters in, and I didn't know this, but when you're using those filters, they don't just drop in one way, or they just don't drop in randomly. You got to actually know which way they got to put them in, because these are unmounted. So in other words, they don't have a thing that screws into the wheel. They're just pieces of glass. So you got to take them out of this little sleeve and drop them into the wheel. And then you take a gasket, and then you put the gasket over top of that to hold them in place. But there is a right way and a wrong way for them to go in. So I had to learn that. That was the first, like, oh, this is different. Anyway, so it's a very simple thing to do. All you do is take a pencil or a pen, and then you hold it over the face of one of the filters. There we go. Pretend I'm holding a filter. And if you see all these weird looking reflections, that's the side that goes towards your sensor. You flip it over, and then it looks like an actual reflection. That's the side that goes out towards the telescope. So you had to do that with each and every one of these filters when you put them in. Because when you look at a filter like that, there's really no instructions, and they look very similar side to side. So anyway, so that was a bit of a learning curve. So once I got it all put together and I started using the camera, lo and behold, it actually works really, really well. I figured it was going to be very difficult to use. It's good. I use Sequence Generator Pro to capture my data, and that's how I do all my acquisition. And so I just had to basically, put in a new driver for a filter wheel, and then tell my method of doing things. Instead of just doing my picture, my lights, darks, and flats, now I had to do lights, which would be, let's just say if it's red, green, and blue, I had to do a red light, blue light, green light, red flat, blue flat, green flat. I had to do all that stuff. So you're basically, if you're doing 3 other filters, you're tripling the work that you have to do to go out there and do it. And but to be honest with you, the results that you get from a mono camera versus a one-shot color camera are day and night. They really are. People always say, well, there's not that much difference, but in my experience, there's huge difference in detail. And anyway, so I was going to show you a photo that I just did last night of the Heart Nebula. So I'm going to just kind of share my screen, your entire screen, and see if I can do this correctly. And what you're going to be looking at, basically, I'm just going to hide that so I don't see it, is, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep, okay. So there's two images. Whoops, one, when time I move that one, this one disappears after the thing with pixel site. But there's two images that I'm showing on the screen. And the one on the right is called the Fishhead Nebula, which of course would be the pointy part of the Heart Nebula. And, you know, the very end, the longest part. And so this was taken with the one-shot color camera using a duo narrowband filter and concentrating more on hydrogen alpha, the red stuff, as opposed to oxygen 3, which has a little bit of that, but it doesn't pick up near as much. But you can see when you're just shooting that kind of a thing, if you're just shooting in hydrogen alpha and or using the one-shot color camera to get that, that's basically the result that you would come up with. Now, as clear as that is, and as well-defined as those things, personally, I find that I have to really look around quite deep into this image before I can start to see a lot of the different things that make up the structure of what it is that I'm looking at, the various gases, for example. But when you look over on this image here, here's that same fish head, but the clarity and the definition in terms of all those different colors that you're seeing allow you to see all of the different gases that make up some of these nebulas that we look at. So the green, the blue that you see up in here, this would have been all done with the oxygen 3 filter, because that's typically the band pass that the oxygen is in that blue band pass. It's a very narrow slice of light out of all the light that we see. So it concentrates on that. The green is the sulfur 2, which is, again, another band pass, but in a different a spot on the spectral light that we look through. And then, of course, the red, and what makes up a lot of this structure would be the hydrogen alpha. Now, you don't see that like you do on the first image, because when you blend those all together, it just kind of, depending on how the percentage that you use for each one of the filters, it comes up with this. Now, this is what they call the Hubble palette, made famous by the Hubble telescope. And the people, when they were actually imaging, they were imaging in these narrow bands instead of broadband. And so they come up with these things. And so a lot of the Hubble images that you saw would have had this kind of a color palette. So, but what's nice about it is, I find personally, there is so much more visible and so much more depth that you can see from this in terms of the color spectrums that you're seeing, or the bands, the narrow bands. But at the same time, if you just look at the black and white data, like if I just show you the hydrogen alpha only data, and this is just black and white, but look at the detail that's in that. Like, that's absolutely incredible. Now, all of these three filters will all come out in grayscale like anything else, and you'd have to tell it, where are you putting it in that, when you're putting it all together. And of course, our computers are in red, blue, and green. So when we put this together, we just take our channel combination tool, which is over here, of course. Oops, let me go here. And then what we do is we actually assign it to red, green, and blue. But when you're doing narrowband, like for example, this Hubble palette that we call it, you would take the hydrogen alpha, and that goes in the green. You would think it would go red to red and green, but that's not what you're trying to do, because this type of palette has to go in a certain way. So what happens is the O3, which is the oxygen, that will go into the blue channel. The hydrogen alpha goes into the green channel, and the sulfur 2 goes into the red channel, and that's what they call show, and that's what that means. S for sulfur, H for hydrogen alpha, and O for O3 for oxygen. So the show. So that's what they call the show palette. So that's how you put it in. And when you combine it, then you come up with this kind of a color palette. It doesn't start out like that. It starts out quite different, really. But with all the processing and whatnot that you do, it ends up looking like this. But I've shot this Heart Nebula a number of times, but never have I gotten to the point where I can see this kind of detail. There's Melat 15, which of course people call that the heart of the heart, which is what it is because it's right in the very center of the Heart Nebula. And then you move over to here, then we have the Fish Head Nebula. And consequently, the Heart Nebula, of course, is right next to the Soul Nebula, which is the original image that I sent Chris the other night. But I just had to shoot the heart, and it came out. I was quite pleased how it actually turned out. So, but it's just the detail that you see when you're looking around with this kind of a color palette. I mean, a lot of these things would be hidden because it's almost like when you're looking at a monochromatic image, whether it's yellow, red, pink, purple, doesn't matter. All you have to define the different lines is the black and the color. And so it doesn't really add for a lot of dynamic range, a lot of depth. But when you've got three colors like that, that complement each other, certainly, but you're actually seeing the different gases and whatnot within it, it changes the game. When I first saw this, I thought, well, if I was looking at it with my eyeballs, would I actually see this? And no, because we see things in a very different light. We see things in red, green, and blue. And but this is a mixture of those in a variety of ways. But in any event, I showed this to my wife, and she says, so is that what I see when I look in a telescope? And, you know what? No, unfortunately, you do not see that in a telescope. Although every telescope box you buy has got one of those things on it, thinking that you're going to see that, but you don't. But anyway, when I told her it was just a gray smudge that you would probably see, she was quite disappointed and walked away. But anyway, so that's basically it. I'm not going to get into processing like that. I just want to show you the difference between, or sort of where it starts. It starts with, the three. I'll just open them all up so you can see the differences in them. So it starts out with the sulfur 2, and then it goes into the oxygen 3. And even though you're seeing the same shapes, you're seeing different portions. Like if you look at this S2 image right up here, you're seeing how you see that nice big curl and all that kind of stuff. You don't see that in the green in the oxygen 3 because it is a different part of the structure. So you're capturing all these different parts of the structure separately. So I'm capturing this structure when I do all this imaging. Then when I go to O3, I'm getting different data again. And then when I go to hydrogen alpha, I'm getting yet different data again. And then when you blend all three together, that's when you end up with that image that you see here. It starts out quite similar to this, but then it's doing typical processing things. And then that's how it ends up. So to me, it's new, and for a lot of people, it's old hat. But for the first time doing this and seeing what I can see in an image now, it makes me want to image things in a different way, not just for a pretty picture, but I can actually study something now and actually look at all the different elements that are in these structures because I can see them so much better. And basically, I can start learning a little bit more scientific things rather than, well, isn't this pretty? Isn't this a beautiful thing? It's up in the constellation, and that's where you'll find it. And that's pretty much all you'd say. But with this, I think it's a game changer that way because now I have a whole new appreciation for what it is that that we as imagers are imaging. So I guess I'm kind of excited about it, and I think anybody getting into this, eventually down the road, if you happen to go this way, especially in the beginning parts of it, I think you'd be quite excited too because it's just like starting all over again with that level of enthusiasm because it's all brand new and there's a lot of things that you have to learn and whatnot with it. So anyway, so that's my little short my experience blurb I wanted to share with you guys.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, Paul. That is just amazing. Like it's
amazing, the detail.
Looking at Hubble shots, I mean, the detail you're getting there. I mean, I know we've got Hubble.
Well, they're using amateurs now to study because of the way things have advanced. Yeah. When you can do things like what you've done, Paul, and they're actually using amateurs to study stuff now. at the same time, which they never could before because nobody had that type of stuff available.
Yeah.
And it's that incredible band pass that you're able to capture it. Like you say, it's stacking each layer on top. You get to know what is in that band pass. It's just, it is a whole new aspect of astrophotography right there for sure.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, like this has been around for a bit, but for someone like myself, I'm just a curious type, and as soon as I saw that, I just can't imagine the things that I'll start researching now. Because when you buy astronomy magazines,
Right.
I always bought them for the images.
Yeah.
Now when I start reading, what's going in on those things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Each object image will give you a different blend of what's actually in there for sure. So how did you choose the colors at the end?
those are the colors.
Those are the colors. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep them as true to the colors that they are. Like when I first blend that together, these are the colors that actually come out.
Okay.
They're very similar to this. It wouldn't look as pretty as that, and it'd be kind of rough looking, really. But by the time you take and clean the noise up and and put everything in place, you can tint some of the stuff if you want to make it a little more give more emphasis. Excuse me, like that area you see around me that's kind of orange and red. That's the hydrogen alpha stuff. So I could actually make that a little bit more visible if I wanted to, but I don't like to take it away from the color that, at least that I think that the filters were trying to tell me it was. But a lot of people do. A lot of people do just 2 color images. They'll take the green out altogether and just use the 2 colors. But and I may do that for experiment, but for this kind of a thing, it's not something I choose. It's just that's what the filters give me.
But again, when you're presenting something, you're saying it emits mostly hydrogen alpha light. You can understand now what that means when you're looking at a photo like yours, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Andromeda, for example. A friend of mine in Nova Scotia, Jason Dane, he just shot Andromeda. He got the same camera and filters I did, so we've been talking back and forth.
Right.
And that is the best Andromeda I've ever seen. And the hydrogen, he did it in true color, red, green, and blue. But he also did a hydrogen alpha run, because within the Andromeda galaxy there are pockets it's like putting little jewels all around Andromeda that are these gorgeous hydrogen, star,
star formation areas. Yeah, they're
star forming natures. Yeah. And then how he presented it and put it in there. It's an amazing photo, and maybe I'll ask him for permission and maybe show it
that'd
next
be great.
week.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Those areas that you're talking about in Andromeda. I mean, there are areas that stars are actually being bunched up together like a throughway on a busy morning kind of thing, and that creates more areas of starburst, and that's what we're seeing with the hydrogen alpha. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, awesome. Very well, Paul. Well done, Paul. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks.
Looking forward to some great shots in the future. More. Okay, how about we go to albino bud next?
Oh, I got to change my slide pattern then. Hold tight.
Oh, you go, wait now. Hey, no, let's go with what
No,
we're going to do.
got him up now. It's too late.
I meant to say gearbox. I was so excited to see what Bino Bud had in store this week that I had to bring him up.
Oh, how do I do this? I'm all out of practice here.
Okay.
Nope. Right church, wrong pew. And he should be coming up.
There he is.
All righty, we have a bud. So binocular target of the week by Bino Bud this week is the Seven Sisters of the Pole. Now,
yes, sir.
I'm going to challenge some people out there because this is a riddle. The Seven Sisters at the cottage. And it says 7 sisters went to the cottage and every single one decided to do something. The first one started reading a novel. The second one started frying pancakes. The third one started playing chess. The fourth one started doing crosswords. The fifth one started doing laundry. And the sixth one started watering the plants. The question is, what did the seventh one do? I'll let you breathe on that one for a while, and we'll move on. Very much a binocular asterism, the Seven Sisters of the Pole are a group of brightish stars in the shape and reminiscent of the Pleiades, or Pleiades, however you choose to pronounce. Although the pattern is similar, these sisters are larger than the original, and very close by is an open cluster, NGC 188. So how do I find it in the sky? It is the simplest thing to find if you know how to step outside when it gets dark and look due north, and you will see Polaris. It's right underneath Polaris right here. And if we zoomed in a little bit, there's Polaris. And guess what? There's the Seven Sisters of the Pole. You see the same shape with this grouping here and then the little arm that comes down. And again, what will you see? This is the Seven Sisters of the Pole. It looks like a large version, actually, of the Pleiades cluster.
Yeah.
If you look through 10 by 50 binoculars and put them on Polaris, there it is right here. And it's a good size. You can't miss it. It takes up a large portion of the field of view of your 10 by 50 binoculars. Beside the full moon, it's going to be about 8 full moons when you put it in there. So find Polaris, look down just a little bit, and you'll find the Seven Sisters of the Pole.
Awesome.
And it's that time of year. Answer to the quiz. The seventh one played chess because it takes 2 people to play chess. She played with the third one. There you go. That's Binobuds target of the week.
Nicely done. Thanks, Mike.
Binobuds.
Another nice target. An easy one too. Easy to stand out.
How many times have we looked at Polaris,
And
used it to line up our telescopes?
Yeah.
And I've never seen that.
No,
And it's right there. It's right there.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Ed. Okay. How about we do a Rosanna's fun facts, and then we're going to move to photos from there.
Oh, you're fine, right? You're making me
Moving
work
right
here.
along. Yeah. Well, we got a lot of photos to show. So.
You just hang on then.
Oh, so we're putting the gearbox off.
Oh no! Hang on.
Yeah. Do the gearbox.
Let's do a gear. Okay, gearbox next.
I
or
should have
Rosanna
just quietly sat in the corner and waited.
I'm so excited about photos. Okay, what are we going to do?
Oh, to show the photos.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. It's either okay. It's going to be Rosanna or Gearbox. What's it going to be?
Photos.
Take photos at the end. We saved the
Get them
photos.
out of the way.
Let's do the gearbox.
Okay, Gearbox up.
Oh, here we go again, back to back. All right. Let me see if I can do this one more time. That should come up there. This should come up here. I'll pick this one. And we should have a gearbox.
We do. So the Gearbox talk, now for those who haven't tuned in before, we started this a while back and we got away from it, but we'd like to get back to it now because it's going to be talking about equipment, reviews on something, maybe an eyepiece, maybe a special telescope or whatever, but just our thoughts on equipment that we come up against. So go ahead, Mike.
Sure?
Yes.
I'm ready. So, this week's Gearbox Talk, we're going to go from the super modern stuff like Paul has with the new cameras and new filters and all of this, back to some original vintage stuff, what I call. And this is back into the days when, 30 years ago, to me, is vintage now. They never had digital cameras when this piece of equipment came out. It was only film cameras, believe it or not. So, this is about the Celestron Super Polaris C8, it's called. Now, back in 1985, this was the original Super Polaris Smith Cassegrain advertisement. And, here's a picture of Saturn and a picture of the Orion Nebula. And they were taken with film cameras of all things. But this is the Polaris C8. I just wanted to give a little bit of history here. So Celestron would take a garden variety C8 optical tube and put it on a German equatorial mount made by a third party, which was Japan's now famous Vixen Telescope Company. They did this because they were going into competition with Meade telescopes, and they were actually falling behind. So they had to come up with something new. So the mount was chosen was the Vixen Super Polaris mount, and thus the scope or package got the name the Celestron Super Polaris C8. What could you sell for a little less than $1,000 in 1985 was their question. And you get a good quality scope that offered few accessories, but excellent performance for the budget-conscious observer. And this package was actually started and put together because of the upcoming Halley's Comet in 1986 at the time. So the Vixen mount Vixen had what was called the Polaris mount already, come out with the Super Polaris mount, which you see here and here, and it's virtually what was called an EQ5 at the time, and it would hold 22 pounds, which was a lot of weight for the, back then, compared to what these go-to scopes and stuff will do today on these manual mounts. The C8 optical tube was basically the same as the orange tube C8 because it's got the same back with the ribs in it and everything, but they painted it black for the first time and changed the color from the original, say, soft orange or orange peel type paint to the Celestron black. And then, of course, the Vixen Polaris mount with the wooden legs and everything. The accessories that I got, because I purchased this mount, I'm going to show you, or purchased this scope, I'm going to show you here in a minute. But there was a 45 millimeter Plausill, which I've never seen before. It's quite the eyepiece. The only thing I found is to look through it and get it to work properly, your eye has to be almost 1.5 inches to 2 inches away from the eyepiece, which I'm not used to. It had an 8x30 finder scope. It came with a carrying strap of all things. How many scopes today have a carrying strap? The EQ6 finally came out with a carrying handle. And this one came with a strap. It had a star mirror diagonal. And it came with an accessory mount, so you could mount a camera or a second scope. A lot of people put C90s on here as a second scope, believe it or not. And it came also with a polar finder, which back then when you bought these things, that was an extra accessory that you had to go out and purchase. So the purchase that I got from Value Village, thanks to a very special friend of mine, Paul Owen, I got this text saying, get your butt over to Value Village, of all things. There's a scope over there that's got your name all over it. And he said, I already talked to them, got the price worked down for you, so just walk in the door and you'll see what I mean. I walked in and I came across this beautiful, and I mean pristine condition C8 Super Polaris on the Vixen Super Polaris mount. Whoever donated this scope, it must have been a one-person scope only. It is the most pristine piece of equipment I've come across for being 36 years old. Unbelievable. The worm gears were so smooth. There's no chatter, no nothing in them when you move the scope around using the slow motion controls. The optics were pristine. I took it out in my driveway and I fired it up on Jupiter to see what this thing would look like. And it's going to be honestly one of the crispest views I've ever seen. The stars were so perfectly pinpoint, it blew me away. And of course, I went out of focus on both sides to see what the collimation was like. And now I know what true collimation should be because those circles lined up so well. They were perfect circles within, not shifted left or right. This thing was extremely well taken care of. And I was so happy to get it. And thank you again, Paul, for giving me the head up on this one. With this as well, whoever owned it in the past, I got a set of JMI encoders with a hand pad, and it's called the NGC Minimax that was put out by JMI at the time. It was pre-GoTo, but it was telling you the RA and the DCEC where this scope is pointed on a little red digital screen. I got the Polaris tracking motors with the hand pad with it as well. That runs off a 9-volt battery, and this thing will run 10 hours direct off a 9-volt battery and keep tracking the sky. The Super Polaris C8 instruction manual, right from the very beginning. I got the original Celestron accessories catalog from the time period, which just blew me away because it was so cool to see, what you could get as extras. And then it came with 1.25 inch Japan Poro Prism, which gives you an erect image in reflectors and SCTs and Mac Cassegrains, which is pretty cool to see. So what I got to quickly say before I actually show you the scope is always keep looking. If you're interested in finding, deals, they're out there. You never know when the deal of a lifetime is going to turn up because they do. You can find it on the web. You can find it in pawn shops. Check the Salvation Army or even Value Village because of all places. And then you can also hear about it through good friends. Again, like Paul, thank you very much. I was so pleased to get my hands on this thing and so impressed with it that it just blew me away. So that's the end of that little part. I'll just close that. And here's the mount behind me set up. Now, the whole system. The only thing that I added to it was the original dew shield that Celestron had at the time period, which is kind of cone-shaped. I had that on another C8. But this thing is the smoothest and probably one of the nicest views I've seen, right up to my 9 1/4. And, blows me away. There's the hand strap that come with it. There's the accessory on the back. The optics, I'm not afraid to shine a flashlight down this one, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And you all know what the thing is, never shine a flashlight at your optics, right? This one here was so clean, unbelievably clean, that I'm not afraid to shove a flashlight in the front of it. There's the whole Polaris mount that it's sitting on. There's a Celestron. It's called the Polaris Drive Controller because it was made to run the Polaris mount. You see the little red light comes on. It'll blink in the beginning until the motor gets up to speed, and then it turns to a steady red, and away she goes. It'll track all night. Now I have left and right and up and down, which will actually control the RA and the DEC on it if I wanted to do some astrophotography or something like that. So, but it is quiet, it is smooth, and I was so happy because I love these, let's call them vintage scopes. I mean, that goes in my collection with my orange tube C8. I've got an original Unitron, which is a rare refractor to get your hands on, but I got my hands on a Unitron a few years back. And this is just another, to me, added piece to that wall over there.
Yeah, not an obsession at all, is it?
No. I got a whole bunch of kids, so each one of them has a name on it. For all my kids, it's the only thing they're going to be able to remember me by. So
every EQ mount is facing exactly the same direction. So I bet you could put the RA and DC in every one of them, and they'd be all
they're all the same angle. Yeah.
And you get the shower cap on that one too, so that must be a keeper. You put the shower cap on it.
Oh, hey, if a shower cap goes on it, it's a keeper for sure. That's my trademark.
Yeah.
Keep the optics clean.
You know what about that too is the wooden mount.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The quality of the wooden mount, and the legs that take up all the shock, you can give that a hit, and wow, it steadies out fast.
Yeah.
And the motor is so smooth. When I was looking at Jupiter, there's no jitter, nothing. It tracked perfect. And I was so happy with it. Like I said, I don't know who the gentleman was or lady that owned it prior to donating it to Value Village, but I will thank them very, very much for doing that. And again, Paul, thank you for putting me onto it because I didn't hesitate when I walked in the door and they go, "You're the one." I say, "Oh, I'm the one."
You're the guy. That's the
I'm
guy.
here.
Well, it's kind of funny because Mike always goes to Value Village.
Yeah.
And
I do too. Yeah.
finds these little things that you could never find. And every time I go here, I can't find anything.
Me too.
So, anyway, well, this thing.
That's
popped
because
up.
Mike was there 5 minutes before you. That's why.
Mike just started getting to Value Village in the last little while.
Or between me being there, they rolled it out on the floor and you being there.
He's standing there watching them take it off the truck. No,
I figured something like that in a store like that, you wouldn't have the condition that this is in normally.
That's
and
right.
I was so impressed with the condition of this. All I really did was dust it off.
Yeah.
And
that's it. You can keep an eye out on Kijiji, keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace. Those places, Astro Buy Sell, of course, too. That's the one we all go to a lot. But those places, you'll get people who are just like probably the one behind you, Mike. Somebody just said, I'm not using this anymore. I'm just going to. Or maybe it was sitting in a closet somewhere. The
best of this one is Paul talked them down in price because he knows telescopes. And I got this for what my wife thinks I would pay for it.
Yeah, there you go. Good deal. Always a good deal.
You're okay.
Yeah. Same as these two.
It really was a good deal.
These two behind me here were both used. Well, actually, all three of them are used scopes, and I bought all three of these at a discounted price. So keep an eye out for. And you can, when you buy used astronomy gear like telescopes, most amateur astronomers are looking after their gear. It's sitting in one spot anyway. It's not getting banged around. Most trouble you'd have is maybe transporting it back and forth from one place to another. So, but normally the gear is all well protected. So when you can invest half the cost of new and get used to get you through as well, that keep an eye out for that kind of stuff too, because it gives you more money for accessories. Yeah.
And I love and they call this vintage, but the views are the same as the views today. Right. That part hasn't changed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What I do like is this is the Vixen Super Polaris mount. I have the original Vixen mount on what was called the Celestron C6R, came with it, that I got from a fellow in Fredericton. And again, the wooden legs and the quality of that Vixen mount is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Made the last lifetime for sure.
Yeah.
And you
They
were
were.
saying too,
Good
Mike,
find.
that was probably the first year that they had the Star Bright coatings on it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually an option on this one, and this one has it, surprisingly enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you look back, it's hard to track Celestron and how old their gear is, but there was a guy, he got on Cloudy Nights, and he started putting the package together, and after about 15 years, he's got a list of people who bought their scopes new and the serial numbers, and he started putting the serial numbers to the years. And so now you can go on his, he's got about 700 serial numbers, and you can go in and tell when your scope was made.
Oh, wow.
And this one is a 1985. So
Nice. Great to have.
Yeah.
it's excellent.
Awesome.
Like I said,
Good find. Good find. Keep an eye out for your finds out there for sure. Okay, we got two more things to cover. We got a Rosanna's fun facts, and we have a bunch of photos. We're 10 to 9 right now. Where would you like to go?
Well, I could do Rosanna's fun fact, and then we can finish with pictures.
Sounds good. Okay, so people, we are going to be a little long tonight, but as long as you don't mind, we don't mind. So
We don't mind.
mind
Okay.
over matter.
there you go.
We don't mind, and you don't matter.
Can't say that. That's our audience now.
All right. All right. Well, let me get ready and share my screen. And this is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Yay!
welcome back, Rosanna. And Rosanna has got a super, super cool fun fact for this week, as every week. But this one, again, they just seem to keep getting better each week. So I'll get right to it. So Rosanna writes, she says, "Hi, Paul. Whoops, let me get that back to where it was. Okay. Perhaps last Sunday night you were visited by an assortment of spooks, of course, meaning Halloween, devils, witches, and maybe your front porch was graced with lions, tigers, and bears. Not only to be outdone by all the magic, mayhem, and mystery we have here on Earth. In the sky, we have a ghoul as well." Now, let me just see if I get this right. There we go. It's the demon star. In Arabic, it's known as Ras al Ghul, representing the head of the ghoul, which we call Agal. In several mythologies, it represents the head of the Gorgon Medusa. Now, one badass monster woman with snakes for hair. She was so terrifying that even a quick sideways glance you would turn to stone, simply petrifying. Now, there are different stories as to why Medusa was so horrible. Perhaps the Sky Tims had run out of coffee.
Could be.
Oh, my, that was good. So, Agal is a perfect star for beginners. Agal, sorry, is a perfect star for beginners to find what just naked eye observing. But one has to wonder just what made the star so frightening that it inspired such tales of horror. The reason is it winks, not like a politician's wink that makes one feel uneasy, but every 2 days, 20 hours, and 49 minutes, it goes from being the second brightest star in Perseus to 30% fainter in a matter of hours. That means you can track Agal's minima and be set to watch it brighten right before your eyes. Because it quickly recovers, this noticeable change would have convinced the ancients of its demon and supernatural powers. 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, this would have seemed like an unbelievable act of godlike magic. So, what is making it wink? Oops, there we go. So today, to answer that, we have greater superpowers, one being CHARA, the Center for High Angular Resolution Astronomy. Be careful how you Google that. If you forget the word array, you'll end up with this type of stonewort. Okay, so the Chara we are interested in sits on a mountaintop in California. And I'll show you that. There it is. And the zoom lens on this telescope is 200 times better than the Hubble Space Telescope. When it was pointed at Eagle, it was able to create this movie of the eclipsing binary pair of Eagle AA1 and Eagle AA2 caught in a foxtrot. This is caused by the big wink. So you can see that's what goes on when you're looking through that telescope. Now, Eagle AA2 orbits Eagle AA1. This animation was assembled from 55 images from the Chara interferometer in the near-infrared H-band, sorted according to orbital phase. Because some phases are poorly covered, AA2 jumps at some points along its path. So you can see it kind of moves a little sporadically. So we are lucky as the spinning of these two stars happens to line up almost exactly in the direction that we view from Earth. That means every 68 hours and 49 minutes, Eagle AA2 passes almost directly in front of Eagle AA1. And for the next 10 hours, or more truthfully, for a few hours in the middle of that time span, we can enjoy the equivalent of a solar eclipse and naked eye at that. Now, perhaps Jack Kerouac said it best. Maybe that's what life is, a wink of an eye and winking stars. And who doesn't love Mr. Bean?
Mr. Bean.
Yeah, so, and that was this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Thank
Thanks
you
again.
so much, Rosanna. That was an
Awesome.
absolutely awesome one. She always picks the most timely things,
Yep.
and no matter what event's happening, she finds the
She
coolest
finds a
stuff
moment for it. Yep.
for us to be able to tell you folks out there. So
There's
I was just
something
thinking on that orbit, that star has really got to be moving to do an orbit around it that fast.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And we can see it from our perspective, so that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Something in the night sky for everybody. That's it.
there always is.
Yeah. I mean, I used to tie everything to Seinfeld or Simpsons, but you can tie it to the night sky now too. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing that Norm's not around anymore.
Yeah,
Grim,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Norm McDonald. Now we have Medusa again.
Okay, let's get to some photos. We got some photos to share, and I'm not going to talk about this week's. We're going to run out of time here, but the aurora this week, I had a little short video on it. But if you want to talk about the aurora, listen tomorrow morning. I'll be on CBC Information Morning from Fredericton at 6 a.m. and then I'll be on CBC Information Morning for St. John at between 6:10 and 6:15 p.m. And we'll be talking all about the aurora last week and what was happening and why we're getting it and what we expect to see in the future. So if we have time next week, I'll squeeze that talk in for next week because we might have some aurora by that time again. So who knows?
Yeah.
We are heading into the season for sure, and it's looking really good. Looking really good for aurora, not necessarily for satellites, but really good for aurora. So we'll talk about that on tomorrow morning show. So I want to go to share my screen. And we're going to get into some photos here. Got a pile of them here to share, so I hope you can bear with me, folks. We got a lot of material to cover tonight, for sure. Okay, let's get to our first one. And I want to enlarge it here on the screen. Make sure you guys can see it. All good?
All good.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, we get these ones from Jeff Pendlebury. These were sent into my Facebook page. Some of them were into the page. Some of them I got on my other 5 email addresses that come in, but these ones come in through the page. So Jeff says, the forecast of a potential Northern Lights show gave me the motivation to get out and attempt astrophotography for the first time. So these images were taken from Cavendish Park on PEI, he says. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Oh, nice dipper.
Oh, cool.
There's a UFO going by. Oops. UFO going by there, wasn't there? Yeah, no, those,
Yeah.
those are planes. Yeah, look.
It's a UFP now.
Yeah. Okay. That's right, it is.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for those, Jeff. And then nice to see you getting outside and enjoying the night sky.
absolutely.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
give somebody an excuse to get out, for sure. Okay. Looks like it's something here on the horizon, too. So We got these ones from Corinne Maria Ann McDonald. She says, "Hi there. Here's a night shot." She says,
Wow.
not very good." She says, "Oh, well, I'll debate that one. I couldn't get the exposure quite right," she said, "on the sky. Therefore, I had to boost the exposure, resulting in a bit of noise in the sky." She said, "Now, is this a little or Big Dipper over City Hall?" And that's actually the Pleiades star cluster right there.
Pleiades.
I was going to say, yeah.
Coming up in the east.
It's neither one, but it looks like a little tiny. A lot of people used to think that was a little dipper, but
Yep.
it just looks like a little mini dipper. But well done. She says, "Humor me." She says, "I'm a beginner," so there you go.
And now there's one under the pole star, too.
There is, exactly. That's right.
That's right.
Look for
That's
that
right.
one next. So she said she took this with the Fujifilm X-T4 ISO 250 at f11, 23.3 millimeter at 10 seconds,
Wow.
and processed in
Nice
Photoshop.
shot.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Well take of the city for sure. That's for Harold and those other people that are visiting from elsewhere. This is our lovely little city in St. John.
Yep.
She also sent this one in. She says, "Hi fellas, here's a light trail shot off the highway." And she asked, "What are the two planets in the picture?" Again, it's a stab in the dark. So actually, she
Jupiter
had
and Saturn.
Jupiter and
Or-
Saturn, and way down here we had Venus too. So
Venus, yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah,
there's
so
the
she caught
ecliptic.
3 of them.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to catch now in the next month or so in our evening sky. They're all going to be lined up just like this. These two are going to move
Bing,
a little
bang,
bit
boom.
closer, down a little bit down closer to Venus, but
And the moon as well.
and the moon. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
great show. Thanks, Corinne, for those. Fujifilm again, ISO 1600 f11, 18 millimeter at 30 seconds.
Nice shot.
Awesome. Thanks
Almost
for
looks
sending
across the street from Stresscon.
something. I think that's where it is, Mike. Yeah,
Yeah,
Just a
it is.
guess.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sign that's over to the far right.
yeah, right there.
It's right where the place they sold stones and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for those. Okay. Let's move into David Smart. David Smart's on his these ones of his waning crescent moon.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
That was about
Love
a week
Earthshine.
ago now.
Love it.
Yeah, love it. Another nice capture there. Thanks, David, for those.
Very nice.
Matthew Dupre sent these ones in. Am
Oh,
I
you
on
got
Matthew?
the-
Am I on Matthew Dupre? Yes, I am. Yeah. He said
Some Aurora.
some
Wow.
star tracker with modification lens and some Aurora here. Here's
Oh, wow.
Another
Look at
image.
that.
That's Barnard's Loop.
Barnard's
Nice
Loop, yeah.
I meant to show that one last week, but we got it on this week from God. So,
Beautiful.
and we've got another one here,
Rosette.
Rosetta.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
The Rosetta. Nice job.
Well done.
Thanks.
Now,
Matthew.
if he had saw Medusa, that would be Rosetta Stone.
Only if Rosetta looked at Medusa.
See, we couldn't get through a whole show, could we?
I told you, would you come out when it comes out?
Awesome. Is this one from? Hang on, I got mixed up again in my order. Have I? No, this is another Matthew one. Yep.
Nice field.
That looks like satellites, with the links.
Yeah, it does Starlinks. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're at the right
angle.
horizon angle.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I could do. I could go Shift Tab.
Nice Aurora.
Shift tab, is it?
Very nice.
I thought. Here it is. Yeah. Yeah, Matthew Dupre. Okay.
Oh, that, yeah.
Thanks for Brad for showing me how to do that.
There you go.
I guess I lost my way. Here we go.
Oh, no,
Another
nice.
one.
Wow.
Yeah, another one from Matthew. Yeah, we got a lot of nice Aurora shots.
Yeah.
Some people were pretty lucky this past week. This one's from Maggie Monroe.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one that made CBC. They used it on their.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
right on.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the color.
fantastic.
So
She got
we've got-
that from Belle Isle, I think, or something.
Yes, she did. Yeah, Belle Isle Bay. She said Thursday morning. Now this is Thursday morning at 6:30.
Wow.
So this was the night or the morning after the big show, but actually the show in the morning was better than the evening show
Yeah.
because I had alerts coming by on my phone saying that the KP level was 8.6 out of 9, which is really high. So
Yeah.
people, if I had I woke up with my alarm clock and then I looked at my phone and saw 8.6. Oh no. I should have got up a little earlier and checked, but I really did think that it was going to die off. All the signs were pointing that way, but that's how it can surprise you. Like,
But look
all
at
of a
the
sudden-
height of that.
Yeah.
That didn't just stop at the red. I mean, that
Yeah.
she really. It's too bad she didn't have a wider angle camera.
Yeah,
Either flip the camera sideways.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot more to see there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the purples
That's
and
cool.
blues, those
Man.
are the purple and blues are nitrogen that gets excited in our atmosphere, and the reds and the greens are oxygen. So you get all those colors. So that aurora comes beating in, the charged particles, they release energy to the atoms of nitrogen and oxygen, which are our atmosphere mostly, of course, and then they release that energy in the form of light, and that's how we get these colors.
Fantastic picture.
Beautiful job. We go to Krista Irving now, next. And
Nice.
yeah, Krista got this one from Charlo.
Wow.
So very nice.
Wow.
You can scroll in. I can scroll in. Look at that. Yeah. So
That's a nice wide angle.
great shot there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well done. We're going to move into Denise Marcil here from Carlingford, New Brunswick.
Wow.
Look at this. I mean, this is New Brunswick.
It took a second to kick in. It was a little blurry, but that one's nice and clean.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, this is New
Beautiful.
Brunswick.
And that's the Big Dipper too, right?
Yeah.
The Big Dipper.
Yeah, right there.
over
That's right. Look at that. Yeah. Beautiful.
Can't get more north than that.
One of the stars washed. Yep. Right out.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Another one here from Krista.
Yep.
And another shot of the Big Dipper sitting there. So
Oh man.
we know we're looking north.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful shots, Krista.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done. From there, we go into, is that another Krista shot? Yes, it is. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Denise one. Hang on, let me get, Shift tab, where am I? Shift tab. Denise, there we are. Denise Marcil. I just gotta find my notes. There we are. That's from Carlingford.
It almost looks like she was in the same place.
I was gonna say.
No, that was because I mixed up here. That was Denise there from Carlingford, and Krista's shots are from Charlo. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's back up a bit.
Everybody's facing north.
There.
Well, yeah, they're all. Yeah,
That's the Belle Isle Bay shot.
That's right.
There's Krista from Charlo, and again, and again. 1, 2, 3, and Denise from here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is
Yeah.
Denise. Yeah, there we go.
It almost looks like there'd be water there, but there's a couple of houses. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Either way.
just lucky to see them for sure.
Yeah.
Yvonne Rudiger sent these ones in.
Yes, sir.
Nice. We get a
That's
nice
spooky.
Yeah. Right up, looks like by side of his house or a
That's
barn.
from-
That's a nice Halloween shot.
From Richmond.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Richmond Corner.
Wow.
Nice.
Hang on. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We have 3 of her shots here.
Wow.
That's James Cleland. These aren't getting in order for some reason. Oh, I missed something. Bear with me for a second. Denise Marcil is that one. I should have had Ferdinand next. My pages are mixed up. Here we go. There, sorry. Fernanda Viana woke up early. It would be this shot. And saw a bit too here at Ratter Corner, but my phone and myself take terrible pictures, she said. So, okay, now I'll get them in order. Okay. Next up, we got Brad Perry. Brad says, this was at 5:51 a.m. on November the 4th in Durham Bridge. I woke up to a KP of 8.67.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
And was very thankful I pulled myself out of bed, which I should have done, as this was much more visible to the eye than the display last Saturday. Amazing start to the day, he says. Absolutely.
Crazy.
Beautiful.
And now we've got Danica Plurd. Said took those on long exposure with my phone, she said.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good for phone
Yeah,
shots.
no, beautiful color spectrums. Right?
Amazing what phone will do nowadays.
Near Kedgwick, she said.
Wow.
Wow.
Now we come to Yvonne Rudiger. Yvonne's from Richmond Corner.
And look at the sprites.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 3 different screens here to pick out the picture, sorry, so I'm just making sure I'm in the right order. I know people would want that mixed up.
Crazy.
Another one of Yvonne. And another.
And jealous. I should have got out of bed.
Everybody got the same perspective, eh?
Yeah.
The Big Dipper just, so they must have all went around the same time.
Right around
Well,
there,
everybody's aiming north, right?
Yeah, they are, yeah. It's standing right out. Nice job, Yvonne.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We got Frank Ferguson here from St. Stephen.
See, there's that Big Dipper again, but look at that.
Mm.
Wow. It's on fire.
And now I just got to get my other page in order. This guy's next. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy colors. And I mean, that's St. Stephen. I mean, there are parts of the province that we're getting any, and then other parts of the province we're getting lots. And it just seemed to be,
almost like pockets or something.
yeah, pockets of it. And I guess that's how it really interacts with our magnetic field. It is pockets. It comes in as a big wave, and the wave isn't going to be exactly the same everywhere. So, now I think we're going into.
That's cool.
That's James Cleveland there.
I like the way the clouds separate the layers, really.
Yeah,
yeah, looks good.
That's from Edmundston, James Cleveland.
Yeah, he's quite a bit further north than most of the people we saw.
Yeah.
Boy, the red's really high up on his shot, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
I guess the further north you get, then of course the higher up in the sky they go.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to look at the horizon anymore. You can look almost straight up.
Yeah.
Anne Laboutier got this one in.
Yes, sir.
Not what as expected for my first picture. She said, next time I'll bring the big guns.
Still got it.
This was around Moncton around 12:30, she said.
Awesome.
You can still make it out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You were out there getting it, and I wasn't. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
This one is Diane Gagne.
Yeah.
Near Shediac, she said. Awesome.
Almost matches the leaves, the color, the red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And from Diane, we go to Pat Fillmore.
Yes, sir.
In Moncton around 3 a.m., so he did get some around there as well.
Yeah,
so.
right on.
Yeah. I think I've got another one here with Diane Gagne there as well. That's another Diane shot.
That is so cool.
Oh, man.
Just to see that, just naked eye once, I'd love to. It's on my bucket list. It'll happen. It's going to happen. I can feel it.
Kind of like that Dr. Hook song. I got stoned and I missed it.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the
This one's
Ever bright.
from Kyle Wood, Upper Durham. Yeah, so there's Durham. Like, beautiful shot.
Wow. That's
we
so
got,
bright.
Clifford Melissa here from Charlotte.
So that one was up a little bit later because the dipper started.
Big Dipper's tilted a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have, I got a lot of pages here. Sorry. Just trying to keep them all in order. I think the next is Sylvain Dugues from.
Wow.
Sylvain Dugues from Shippigan. Shippigan, yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
you're up there a long way there, so.
Yeah. Wow.
Well done.
Look at the pillars, eh?
Yeah. And how high it goes. Like you said, the purples and the blues way up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this red and green is all oxygen. That's all nitrogen, but beautiful. Here's one from Julie Bedorno from Eel River, northern New Brunswick, she says.
Wow.
Eel River. Wow.
And then we're moving to Mary Craig next. Mary's and St. Andrews. She's showing a little green down low and a little red in the upper corner.
Yep, you can see it.
Yep. And keep going here. We're over halfway through. Another one by Mary.
I love it like that.
Yeah.
It is awesome. That almost looks like a tornado where it gets dark right now.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the clouds getting darker like we used to see at Mount Carleton, Maypole, Mike.
Yeah.
When they're black like that, you get a dark sky.
Look at the stars, though. Wow.
Darren Kelly sent this one in.
Very nice.
Thanks, Darren. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
That's Amber McNally. Northern Lights over Indian River, Prince Edward Islands, he said. So.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing colors. So there's the Big Dipper standing right up.
Yeah. Man, not in the right order again. Here we go again.
Love that church in the background.
There's Amber. I'm sorry, that's Amber. Right there. I missed that. Was Darren
yeah.
Kelly. The other two were Darren Kelly. They were. Let's go back. Okay, we'll go back again. Give them the justice that they deserve. There's Darren Kelly. Here's the second one from Darren.
Right on.
And the third one from Darren.
Okay.
And now we'll move to Amber. There's Amber. Northern Lights over Indian River, Prince Edward Island there. So
Beautiful.
I love that church, dead center. That's cool. That's well done.
Yeah.
Now
Well
we're going to go
done.
to your buddy, Paul Cheval Mathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the reflection.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Isn't that something?
Cheval said, I took a few shots from my location at Cambridge, Tasmania.
Wow.
Unfortunately, my horizon cuts off at about 8 degrees, so I just got some of the green and red sky glows. It would have been towards the end of the activity as the display started early morning, so daytime during the best part. Interestingly, a very clear night, but nothing to see visually. Maybe just a hint of sky brightness to the south above my treetops once my eyes were dark adapted. The camera picked up the auroral colors right away, so of course, yeah, he was looking south here, right?
Yeah, it's a southern aurora.
Southern
Yeah.
aurora.
Well, I think he posted that shot. I'm not sure that was his actual shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a
But
gorgeous shot.
The shot was just so amazing
Yeah.
Like,
that we had to show it.
it's just
Look
one of
at
those
the
wow.
water. Look at the water lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that little pond or
Yeah,
area.
but even here, yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
colors.
all just glowing.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Well done. Okay, we're almost through, folks. And I'm going to move from there to Carol Bean's shot of our
Oh, nice.
crescent
Oh,
moon
nice.
last night.
Love it.
Yeah, she does a great job. And there's another one with a little bit more
Wow.
earth
Oh,
shine.
wow.
A little bit
Yeah.
more earth shine in that shot. Yeah, very nice.
Gorgeous.
I will go from there to Brenda Baird, who sent these ones in of the crescent moon as well.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, look at that.
Wow.
That's the nicest time of night is when that sky starts to turn that orangey,
Yeah.
yellowish,
And
and then it just kind of goes up into the nice light blue, teal, and
Yeah.
then finally up to blue.
just hangs
Oh.
there. Yeah, nice.
Well done.
Yeah, favorite time of night for me.
Jamie sent these in. Jamie, why not? Next one over. Sorry. There we go. She said, hi, Chris. I took this photo of Orion just before midnight on Monday with my iPhone 8.
Right
The
on.
photo of the
Nice.
slim,
Nice.
very nice, eh?
Yeah.
And the photo of the slim crescent moon through my binoculars tonight. Through binoculars.
Nice. Oh,
Wow.
Yeah,
She got all of it.
she did. Just a couple left. Karina Maria Ann McDonald got back to us again. She said, hi, Chris. I took this Milky Way shot tonight around 7:46. That was last night. Not the best. Still learning. I downloaded Deep Sky Tracker, but can't get it working yet. I used photo pills. Knew I had a short window to get it. Fujifilm ISO 1250 at f3.5, 18 millimeter at 13 seconds. I did display with saturation levels, etc., to sharpen the image. I think we know that area, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. This is what they call the urban dark sky in St. John. This is
Yeah.
the beach that Chris is on all the time.
Yeah.
And I shot the Milky Way there back in 2013. And then you had mentioned that they had actually changed since then a lot of the lights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you could not get that kind of structure back then. That I guess whatever her name was,
Yeah.
that
Corinne, yeah.
Corinne captured. I mean, that's a lot of detail when you consider where you're standing.
Right. You're not.
Although,
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say the part that kind of caught me, I said it looks familiar, but I don't see the lights, the Lorneville lights in the background, because usually it's lit up close
Yeah.
to the trees.
We're over here to the right-hand side, maybe.
Yeah,
Might
right,
be
A little bit, but oh, well done. Like,
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
capture.
I mean,
Beautiful.
you might get that inside the park, where you get darker surroundings around you, but to get that right from the beach itself.
Of course, every time I'm trying to take that shot, somebody's driving back from the park and they got their lights right in their eye.
Or you get
Thank you.
somebody who has to come up to the telescope and take a look through the telescope. What is it about people? Yeah. No, that's an amazing shot, Corinne. Thanks very much for sharing that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Well done.
I can't wait to get back there. And then the final one from Jeff Legier said, my wife was looking and found this. Might put Paul's picture to shame.
Breathtaking. That's awesome.
All right. Anyway, we're going to go from there to
Milky Way is seen from Mars. I like it.
yeah. Oh wow! Look at the
Good.
like I had. That was the pages. Just trying to keep them all straight. And then people would send in pictures, so I tried to get them to join the ones that they had before. So I had to go back and renumber them all, so I had them all in sequence. But anyway, I do my best. Here we go.
It's all
They all get on there, so that was amazing.
Got them all in.
Yeah, thank you very much for everybody for sending those in. It was amazing to get them.
Absolutely.
I did want to share one other thing, if I can just quickly, because I forgot to share that, was just where to send your pictures. So,
The SNAS.
to SNAS. Read it in here. Yeah, so send them
There it is.
into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, or you can send them into now SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca. That's our other email address available. Of course, you can also just put them on the page as well. So I always go back and scrape them all through the last week of posts. Takes quite a while to go through a week of posts and grab every photo that came in, but they're all worth it for sure. So really great shots of the aurora. Again, I will be talking more about the aurora tomorrow morning on CBC Information Morning St. John and CBC Information Morning Fredericton between 6 and 6:30, around that range. I think it's 6 o'clock in Fredericton, 6:15 in St. John. But anyway, we didn't get much of a chance to talk about that tonight, but we'll try to talk about it again next week because it is an important topic. I do like to mention why we're getting it and why it's so apparent right now and why it's going to be apparent coming up. We're leading up out of solar minimum. Obviously now we're out of that part because we've got 3, 4, 5 sunspots every day on the sun, and our solar maximum they're predicting around 2025. But they are saying that they believe that this actual solar cycle, what I've been reading lately, is going to be the most intense solar cycle in unrecorded history. So the last one we really missed out on because it was.
See what global warming's doing? It's affecting the sun.
There you go. It's the other way around, I think. Yeah. But I mean, so the one before this one, I mean, it's every 22 years when things flip, but the one before this one was okay. And then our last one was just a dud. But now we're hitting into this intense one. So they do think that this will be, I mean, and it's kind of showing. We're coming out of solar minimum. We're getting 5 or 6 sunspots a day. There might get the odd day where you only get a couple, but they're really big sunspots too. And there's lots of activity, lots of M-class solar flares, C-class, X-class, and lots of CMEs, big clouds of plasma heading our direction. So watch out, folks. There's more coming.
There is.
Take some money.
Can I take
Stuff your wallet. Sorry, stuff your pillow full of cash. Just have it aside, just in case. Or send it to me. I'll look after it. I'll hang out. Go ahead. Yes.
If I might take just a couple of seconds just to put a shameless plug in.
Please do.
Before we go, on November the 16th, this month, next week, I just want to share my screen. And just to let you know that some of the things that I talked about tonight on that processing things, one of them is the PixInsight tutorial that I'm currently doing with Alandri Bringes from the Sky News magazine. And this week, or on the 16th, we're going to be talking about in PixInsight, they have this group of plugins called, or I guess I call it plugins. Anyway, it's called the Easy Suite, and it's just basically a group of 5 tools that you can basically take a photo from your stacks image and then rate to actually something you can actually put and put it on the internet if you want to. Awesome. And I'm going to be showing how to do that coming up in that segment. And you can find us on YouTube on Subs and Stars, and that's what you would look up. Just to what you see there on the things. Look up Subs and Stars. We've already got 2 episodes done already, and they're on YouTube. And if you want to go back and look at them, and it's all about processing an image, and the data that we're using is from the robotic telescope in California that RASC Canada has, and this was the data I was talking about earlier on that got me fired up to do this stuff here. So, but anyway, so if you want to watch those previous ones, episode 1 and 2, they're there on November the 16th. The PixInsight Easy Suite is what I'm going to be talking a lot on. There'll be other things as well, but that'll be the main thing. So.
And what time was that, Paul?
And that's going to be on at 9 o'clock Atlantic.
Okay.
Perfect. And that's going to be a Tuesday night.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Okay. And with that, then I guess we're going to sign out for tonight. We're into almost at 9:30. Wow. We might have to extend the show out to maybe 4 or 5 hours. Not go that far, but 90 minutes is getting pretty close every time now. Look, people are still here. That's the thing. I can't believe it. Yes. Anyway, okay, so in closing tonight, again, our special thanks once again for your continued support out there. We really do appreciate it. Thanks again, of course, to Rosanna for her continued contribution to the show every week. Always something wonderful to share, and we know it's a lot of work for you, but we really do appreciate your contribution to our show. Wouldn't be the same without it, for sure.
No,
Also,
not at all.
thanks again to everybody who's been sharing our program with others. The MB Stormer Weather Center, Trudy Allman, our most faithful sharer out there. Lisa as well from Lisa's Lookup, and many more of you. Remember too, we do love getting your photos, so send them in to Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com or into SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca, or just put them on my Facebook page. I'll love to pick them up from there as well. And remember too, if you have an idea for a future show, let us know, please as well, because we're always looking for ideas to bring to you. We want you to continue to come back and join us, so let us present to you what you like to see. And please let your friends and family know too that we are here every Sunday night, pretty well every Sunday night. We haven't missed a couple, but not bad, to help educate and entertain you for the evening, for at least, 90 minutes tonight. So for now then, from Mike and Paul and I, stay safe everybody out there, please. We wish you all clear skies, and we hope to see you again here next week. As we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Point it up.
Hey, and cue the music.
Cue the music.
Y'all come back now here. Everybody, have a great week. Y'all come back now, you hear?